If you're like most young men out there and you hear the word compound interest and it makes your eyes glaze over, then you're not alone. Now, what if I told you if it's actually that simple and I told you that how I turned my first $2,500 into a nearly $65,000 account? Now, allow me to explain, and don't worry, I'm not gonna do flashy stuff or do all the guru BS because you're probably thinking, Eric, that's a bunch of BS, but that's not simply what it is. And I really want to go over that and make clear that uh, it's truly possible to use compound interest to grow substantial wealth over time. So, how does compound interest work if you suck at math? Well, you can calculate compound interest, whether you can use a calculator or not, or whether you're a mathematician, but either way, it works regardless of. And I want to explain that in this video. And so here's the thing. When I was back working the 9 to 5, and I still am, but a couple years ago, I kept thinking, back then, I used to be a real avid saver and kind of like this mini investor where I put a good portion of my paycheck into my traditional savings account. And then here's the thing, with savings accounts, you earn basic interest on it. And, interest rates as they are, they're very low right now. I mean, if you put savings accounts in a traditional bank, you could very well be making less than 1% a year. And you're literally earning pennies each month for putting money in your savings. And honestly, when you take that into consideration or put inflation into the picture, then it's eating up your money and it's actually hurting your wealth. And so that's what basic interest is about, earning the simple interest. Now, let's look at it on the other side with compound interest. Compound interest is basically, you do have money in an account, maybe in an investment or a brokerage account, and you decide to make maybe not monthly, but weekly contributions where you put in maybe $20 a week, or you can put $50 a week, and so forth, or even $100 a week. And then you keep investing or you keep trading and you let that compound over time. Compound interest helps grow your money much faster in a way. And so, when I started trading the stock market almost 2 years ago, I completely ignored compound interest because it sounded like boring school stuff. And really, compound interest is something that I think schools don't really emphasize on, and they try to make it sound boring, even if they do teach it. But you gotta think about it this way: uh, compound interest, it can really take a snowball effect where your wealth can just grow substantially if you just keep contributing and putting money into your investment accounts. And you know, if you're someone who's sitting with a full-time job and you're you have a couple $1,000s to save and you want to start trading, I get where you're at. You may be thinking, what am I going to do with this money? How can I make it much more useful to help grow my wealth and so forth? And I get it. That's something that I think we all desire and so forth, and there are ways to do so. Now, let's get to like the interesting part. So, when I started trading options back in the summer of 2024, I started out with a really small account. I started out with $2,500. And what I did is I, I traded every week. And I also put in weekly contributions because putting in this weekly contributions just helps grow your account much faster. And so with that, as I continued to grow it, you know, the account value got bigger over time. Now, here's the thing. I went from starting with a $2,500 account in July of 2024, and now, as of, what? It is now May of 2026 as I record this video. I will say that, and keep in mind that I added a lot of money into the account because I just saw the power of compound interest. But now I'm at the point now where my account size is close to $65,000. Now, keep in mind, I put a lot of money in, I made some big weekly contributions, and that's what really helped grow the account further. But to really take a step back and really see how it all works, if you were just to start with $2,500 and say you just traded every week but didn't add weekly contributions, your account value will be smaller, but it'll be significantly bigger, say in 1 to 5 years. And I will leave a link to the tool below, and also it's part of the ebook that I'm gonna list below. But there is a really neat calculator that I use in the trading program I'm in, and I refer to it as the 1% calculator. And so what I do with it is I use that and I punch in 1% a week and the starting balance is $2,500. Now, if you just make 1% every week on your trades, over time in 1 year, that turns into a little over $4,000 into the account. In 2 years, that's a little over $7,000. And then 5 years, you're talking around $33,000. Now, that's a theoretical case if you choose to trade 1% a week. Now, that may not be possible all the time because, let's face it, the market has its ebbs and flows. It'll go up, it'll go sideways, and then it'll go down. And so there may be weeks where you're not making the 1%. Heck, you know, even during the tariff scare in 2025 and the pullbacks we've had in 2026 with what's going on around the world, I have been consistently making less than 1% every week. And that's normal as we go through, the market goes through a little bit of a downturn or has pullbacks or corrections. And so that's a normal part of the market. But in the end, it all works out. So if you started out with a $2,500 account and you traded that for 5 years, you're talking about almost 2 times, 3 times, a much bigger account than you would ever have, say, through a traditional savings or an investing account. And this is the power of compound interest. It truly is something where you can potentially build not only wealth for yourself, but also generational wealth for you and your family. And so it really is something that I really want to strongly emphasize because here's the thing. We don't want to spend our nights crunching numbers or becoming these goofy Wall Street nerds or these analyst monkeys or so forth. We just want real freedom without having to quit our jobs tomorrow. And with compound interest, it's the ultimate low stress hack that works while we are still employed and we still have a steady stream of income coming in. Now, think about it this way. Compound interest, it's just money making money in the background. You don't need some fancy math degree or some college degree or so forth. Think of it this way. If I was your best friend, it's like every dollar you put and it starts earning its own little paycheck. And that paycheck starts earning as well. It snowballs over time and it gets bigger and bigger. And I mean, for me, I'm fortunate enough where I'm at the point where I make between $200 to $300 a week. And I'm making $300 a week. That's easily $1,200 a month. And I mean, come on, don't you think an extra $1,000+ a month is just significant? I mean, wouldn't it be so cool to make an extra $1,000 a month besides working at your job? There are a lot of people out there who really are desperate to find a way to make an extra $1,000 and so forth. I'm gonna take a little jump here, but it's remarkable. I mean, it's amazing to think that I can make an extra $1,000 a month without having to work a job or have to rely on someone else. I mean, it's amazing. And so, think of it this way. If you want to work on compound interest, throw whatever you can. Even $20 a week makes a huge difference. And if you trade options with it, that account is going to grow so much faster. And here's the thing. This is why most guys wait until they have more money. But starting with $2,500 or even $1,000, you know, you can still build that over time if you choose to practice compound interest and you add weekly contributions. I mean, for me, this is what I do, and it's something that I continue to practice. I continue to trade every week, and at this point now, I put in at least $100 a week into my taxable accounts that I trade options on, and I still put in a little money through my Roth IRA at least $50. The Roth IRA, I can put in a little bit, but not too much because I'm at the point now where I have a good 25 plus years until I need that money or until I hit the retirement age. But either way, practicing compound interest, putting in that weekly contribution, it makes a big difference. And so, something I want to have you keep in mind of because you can easily turn $1,000 or $2,500, and you could turn that into six figures in several years, even seven figures. And that's exactly what I'm working on right now because I'm at the point where I'm gonna probably reach seven figures in the next 4 to 5 years if I keep going with it. So that's something I wanted to bring up today, and I hope that really gets you thinking more. And remember, I'm not really this guy who is going to BS about it, but this is real. And if you're curious or you're still doubtful about it, then here's the thing. I encourage you to check out my latest ebook called The Power of 1%: Why Slow, Steady Profits Beats Chasing Greed. Will really get you a better understanding of it and how you can use that calculator to help see where your account size can go in the next few years. So, if that interests you and you want to get more practical examples and play around with the calculator, then be sure to check out my ebook by signing up via the link below. I look forward to having you on my email list. It's where I talk more about these topics, and uh, I look forward to seeing you on the other side soon. All right, that's all I got. So until next time, peace.